Episode 3840, Love Well When You Disagree.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope you're ready for something extraordinary to happen. Are you ready for some football with your spouse? Yes, because it's relationship builders, and why not throw the ball to each other? Love well when you disagree. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already even had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter. The Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. I hope you're ready to be in community with the one you love. Yes, it's very important. But unfortunately, we have to giggle a little bit. But what happens when things aren't going well? Because marriage isn't a fairy tale where two perfect people glide through life wrapped in eternal joy. It's like, and the angels sing, right? No, it's not that way. It would be nice. And in our dreams, maybe initially when we were like 5 years old or 8 years old or maybe 12 years old, it's truly a daily dance between two imperfect humans trying to build a shared life. Disagreements and arguments, well, you know, they're going to happen. No amount of romantic dinners or love songs will erase that reality. Not even diamonds, I'm here to tell you, it will not. However, even though you won't like everything your spouse says or does, you can still love well when you disagree. But the real challenge isn't avoiding conflict. It's how you handle it without tearing each other down. You know, I kind of started off a little bit light going, hey, you want to play some football? Throw the ball to the one you love. Yeah, that would be great. But you know what? We fumble, don't we? We make mistakes. We don't always get the touchdowns. We say things we shouldn't. We hurt not because we always want to, but because we are imperfect. And no matter how hard we try, there's always going to be a disagreement. And it's not just about compromise. Because I know you're thinking that already. It's like, no. If you don't make a conscious choice to love well when you disagree, you're going to create nothing but damage. And that is a promise. Because you're going to keep score. And you're going to say, yep, you fumbled here. You missed it here. Penalty. You're back 15 yards. Roughing the passer. Didn't take care of me, right? I mean, all these things that we can sit here and go, yeah, that doesn't seem really the way my life goes. But yeah, maybe my life and our marriage is more like a game of football. Daily fights grind away any chance for healing deeper wounds and chip away at the foundation of your partnership, your commitment to each other, your sacrificial love that says, you know what, I'm going to love you till death do us part. But when you choose to show up in love despite conflict, that imperfect marriage suddenly looks a little more like perfection. It's like, you can take a breath. The people who've been married for a long time, they've had arguments, thousands of arguments, disagreements, fights, whatever you want to call them. But when you have that kind of communication, one person didn't win. But here's the thing. Both of you can win if you love well. And that's really honestly the key. But most of the time it's like, no, what about me? I want to love well when I'm taken care of. And then you wonder, why is marriage so rocky? Because it pairs two flawed people who want a flawless life together. There's this dream, the White House, the picket fence. Maybe for you, it's this beautiful house on the beach, modern looking, all white with black trim on everything, I mean, whatever. But that's a mismatch destined for bumps. If you think that two of you that are imperfect can come together and live a flawless life, it's not going to happen. But the imperfect marriage can be strong. It can be a healthy union if both of you, both partners, commit to one simple but hard idea. Love each other not because of what you get in return, but because of what you can give and how you serve. Love is an act of service, especially when things aren't easy. My friend, you got to love well. That is your Kids to Keep It Simple strategy. It sounded like a dying helium balloon, didn't it? It did. I'm not going to take that out either. There's some things I like to edit, and there are other things I'm like, no, you just need a good laugh. Because most of the time when we're arguing, we don't laugh. What if you did just start laughing? And just say like, oh my gosh, do you know, hun, how ridiculous we sound right now? Maybe you actually would sit down and actually have a conversation. Because most of the time we are ridiculous and we sound ridiculous. And what we're trying to prove is ridiculous. Who cares about who's right? What about doing what needs to be done in the moment that it needs to be done? Making decisions isn't necessarily this, oh my gosh, if I don't have it my way, then that's it, I'm walking. If that's you, I don't know how long you'll be married. It's hard to survive that way. And understand this conversation here that we're having are for healthy marriages. I put that in quote, meaning that you are not in an abusive relationship. If there's any form of abuse, you cannot sit here and say, I'm going to love well, because you're loving well in the manner of, oh, wait, this is just so I don't have to be hit again. And I don't take that lightly. So really understand this, understand my heart and the context of this. Okay? It's very important because your safety and security is first the priority. Then this comes next. Okay? So if you're not, please go get help. If you're not in a situation where there is true love. And that doesn't mean it's perfect love. Understand that, right? The only perfect love we have comes from God and God alone. But we can learn from him. We can learn when Jesus walked on this earth how we are to serve. It's in the scriptures. You don't have to make this up. But loving well doesn't mean doing everything that your spouse says. You know who I'm talking to, don't you, men? Be very careful about the context of what you're reading. And so going back to loving well, when you disagree, because disagreements are going to happen. And they can happen with the craziest, silliest things. What color socks to wear with the suit? What should we go and have for lunch? What do you need me to pick up at the grocery store? Well, you should know already. We've been married for 20 years. Why are we having this conversation? It has nothing to do with what I need to buy at the grocery store. Yet all of a sudden it becomes about what you want to buy at the grocery store. Yet you've been married. You're supposed to read my mind. You've known me for 20 years. I can't read your mind. Do you see where this goes down? And you wonder why we're having issues. So what does it look like to love well when you disagree? In real life, number one, stop obsessing over the fear of divorce when you fight. Now you're like, we don't talk about that. No, you don't. You don't sit there and say, if we continue this with the argument, yes, I'm just going to divorce you. Now, maybe you have thought it initially. Maybe it comes up again in your mind, and then all of a sudden be honest with yourself, not with me, but with you, in your own mind, in your own heart. Maybe you thought, gosh, if I wouldn't have married this person, where would I be right now? Everybody has thought that at one point or another in their marriage. Exclamation point to infinity and beyond. If you have not, you are lying. Now, you may not have thought about it verbatim like that. I'm paraphrasing your thoughts. I have thought that. Every person, man, woman, has had that cross their mind. But the key is stop obsessing over the fear of it. The fear of like, oh my goodness. Constant worrying about, is this fight going to break us up? No. Probably the other 200 that came way before this. Your marriage doesn't dissolve overnight. It happens over time. So recognize that arguments don't signal the end. They are a normal part of two people living deeply intertwined lives. It's called, you got to learn how to communicate. Communication, key. See your spouse as a human being with flaws. See your spouse as one who has hopes too and dreams. See your spouse as a human being that, once you really did think that, wow, you are amazing. But you know what? You have fears too, and so do I. And see your spouse not as the enemy or a threat to your security. If we sit here and always doom and gloom our marriage, do you think we're ever going to get to the other side? Probably not. Except that maybe you'll be on one side of the courtroom and your spouse will be on the other. And I don't want that for you. So love well. Stop obsessing over the fear of divorce when you fight. Look at what you're trying to solve. Stop trying to point out all the bad. What is the purpose of this conversation? Number 2, pause, literally, to really see your spouse where they are today. When tempers flare, and they do, it's easy to forget your partner is more than the sum of their words in that moment. So instead of attacking or withdrawing, I'm just going to give you a moment because I don't like where you're going with this. Or, how can you be that way? You're such an idiot. You treat me like this all the time. Try to understand their heart behind their disagreement. What's going on? What more needs to come out? What more do you need to understand? That's why it's not a good idea to make decisions before you go to bed. Finances. Am I going to buy a house? Are we going to buy a house? Am I going to buy a house? I'm not buying a house. We are going to buy a house, right? I mean, what is this? Don't do it right before you go to bed, because what happens when you disagree, arguments, and then you go to bed mad, not a good idea. And you can go to bed not agreeing with each other. Don't sit there, though, and grumble under your breath all the time of how bad your spouse is, though, because you're just scraping out the wound and making it deeper. What vulnerability, frustration, or unmet need is driving their stance, where they're coming from, what they're thinking about? That's the pause that you need to see. That's where you say, wow. And when you look beyond the surface, you open a door to empathy instead of escalation. It's not about, oh my gosh, I just feel like making them mad. Have you ever been there? Where like you started an argument because you just want to argue? Oh, I've had this conversation with my husband. He's like, you just kind of want to argue with me. I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, yes, you do. I'm like, no, I really don't. And then I'm like, now we're arguing about whether or not we want to argue? Like, how ridiculous is that? And honestly, we don't even argue. Because it's like, okay, mute point, move on next. I just don't deal with it at all. I'm like, no, this is not happening. This is not how we're going to have a conversation. And I change what we're doing and how we're handling it very quickly. But I kind of do that every day. It's part of my job, right? And I've learned things. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm not. I fail. So when we have those moments, I'm like, okay, whoa, slow down, pause. Even I have to pause. That allows me to change what is coming out of my mouth, because I can fire right back as fast as anybody else can. And probably actually faster. Because I'm like, would you just make your statement already? I've already finished 3 paragraphs later, and you're still trying to finish the second sentence. Drives me crazy. But that doesn't help him with his thoughts. That doesn't allow him to be heard and to be seen. Right? Your spouse wants to be noticed by you. Are you paying attention? Pause. And number 3, choose service over self-interest every single time. Love isn't about winning or being right. It's about showing up with generosity and patience, even when it stings. Let me tell you what humility does to you. It allows your love to grow deeper. because you position yourself not above your spouse, but equal to and service to each other. That changes the whole landscape of marriage. So this might mean setting aside your pride to listen, or swallowing your immediate reaction to respond kindly. Kindness goes a long way, especially to your spouse. When I kind of feel aggravated for whatever reason, and most of the time it has nothing to do with my husband. Seriously. Maybe it's because I got off of a phone call dealing with whatever I was dealing with, and I'm just flustered. And so all of a sudden he called me at the wrong time, not for him because he thinks I just want to talk to my baby doll. Great. Thanks for talking to me, babe. But right now I'm a little flustered and I don't want to talk to you. Now that's not fair to him. So I have to be very careful. Wait, how can I serve you? And so I have to put my on the back burner for a moment and be like, okay, I'm going to be in service to him. I don't need to just get all worked up. He had nothing to do with the workup. So sometimes we have to swallow our own tongue, meaning stop talking. It's not about them. What happened to you? It's not their problem, right? It's not. It's not their fault. What happened at work today has nothing to do with them. You're going to blame them that, oh, well, you didn't fix me my coffee and you did this, so I was late. Really? You could have gotten up 15 minutes earlier, fixed your own coffee, made your own lunch. I know you're sitting there going, are you kidding me, Christiane? You're saying that? Yeah, I am. Takes two to tango. But that doesn't mean you can't be kind. Sometimes you got to be extra kind. Sometimes you're locked into a season that you're like, gosh darn it, I don't know where this is going and I'm so flustered. Okay, maybe your spouse can be more kind to you while you're trying to figure things out. A business deal. I think about all these commentators. I talk about football a lot, right? I watch and listen to the commentators and the pre-shows, the post-shows, and a lot of it is just because I enjoy the stories, right? Do you enjoy the stories? Because that's what life is all about. It's a journey. And so I was actually I was watching tennis. They have the Shanghai Masters and the U.S., or not the U.S. Open. Oh my goodness, the China Open right now. And they've got Shanghai and, Beijing, I think it is. Those two things are going on right now. And so I've been watching all of the events as much as I can. I mean, I don't have time just to sit around and watch it, but I'll have it on if I'm working and cleaning or doing laundry or cooking dinner or whatever. I want something that's going to feed my mind in a positive way, not necessarily something negative. So I'm just learning and I love the stories. Well, I learned something about a tennis player that I had no idea. And I was like, oh, well, let's look about this tennis player. And then this one. And next thing I was like, oh my goodness. Had nothing to do with football, I know. But I just wanted to hear the stories. I wanted to see what it was and what they do and what makes them them, right? And sometimes we think about all that for everybody else, but we don't think about that for our own spouse. Your spouse has a story, and you're not always in that direct story. Yep, because your spouse goes to work without you. Unless if you have the opportunity to work with your spouse. Some people do. That's great. But even then, you're not talking to everybody that your spouse does. I can think about a singer, a country artist. They're a duo. They're married. And I wish I could think of their name right now. Maybe I will here in a minute. I see their faces. Anyway, regardless, I know even thinking of them, that they have probably conversations with either other artists and their spouse isn't in the room. They're not both always having conversations together at the same time. You can't do everything together. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom. I know TMI, but seriously. So we've got to start thinking about our spouse and not always about ourselves, that self-interest. And it's so easy to do. When you put your spouse's well-being above your own need to be right, you foster safety and trust that survives any disagreement and those to come. Because you're like, okay, it's okay to agree to disagree. Sometimes you're going to be that way. And for some people, a house divided. I think about Mississippi State and Ole Miss, a house divided. You can think about so many other teams that way for college ball, not NFL, but NFL, you could be divided too. And it doesn't even have to be a team that's in the same state. I don't know how many teams are in the same state. Okay, that's for another episode. Whew, that's going to get me going down the wrong area. But you know what? That could be a disagreement right there. If you're having a conversation. Sometimes, actually, I know more about football than my husband does. Not about the actual game itself, but about what's going on. Why? Because I actually probably watch it more or listen to it. When I'm driving, I'll turn on the games while I drive. I'll look for them. Sometimes if I know it was a great game and I didn't get to watch the whole game and I find out they're doing it on a rerun and I can watch a particular area, then you know what? I go to that and I watch it because I'm like, I missed that. Again, I'm searching for the stories, not always for the game. But it is a fun sport. I'm just saying. And you can learn a lot from football. You can learn a lot from tennis and golf and all of this. And you can apply it to your everyday in a manner that, you know what, you can actually wake up and start laughing more than crying. And just having that pause, that moment of like, oh, it allows you to be real. The problem is, though, we're all trying to be perfect. We all want to go viral. I don't, by the way, but I do really appreciate when you share the podcast episodes and you tell friends about it and you say, hey, and you subscribe. And then you're like, Christiane, I can't wait till you get the new website up. And then you're going to open up the PJ party and AIM and we're doing all this stuff. Yes, it's going to be awesome. And don't forget Kairos, our free community. That's all coming up. And I appreciate that. But my drive is not to go viral. Wouldn't even know what to do. I wouldn't even know if I did go viral, probably. Someone might have to tell me. But you see, when we live in this world of a phone in front of us, and I say a phone because the majority of us have a computer, meaning a phone, in our hands. And it's not just to call someone. It's connected via social media. We can go and search. We can talk to Siri or whatever the Android one is. I don't know all the names. Anyway, if we live by that all the time and we're looking down, it's no wonder that we're always disagreeing with our spouse. Because what you think you're reading is truth, yet your spouse is right there and they may be seeing something that you don't. Oh, but it says right here. Really? Have you ever seen the fake accounts? Oh, I have. It's important to know where you're getting your information from. And if it's about whatever you're talking about, and all of a sudden you just want to argue for argument's sake, seriously? But I know a lot of marriages, a lot of couples do that. Sometimes it's both of them. Sometimes it's just one of them. Sometimes it's seasonal. It's like seasonal allergies. Oh, I just feel like arguing because I'm just flustered. Maybe it's quarterly. And I get it. Yes, marriage is tough. I get that. But it also holds the potential for profound growth, meaning that you can actually grow closer together the older you get if you refuse to let fights define your story. Loving well when you disagree isn't a feeling. It's a decision you make again and again. You wake up saying, I'm going to serve today. How can I serve you? How can I love you better? How can I show up better for you? How can I help take care of the family? What can I do for you? Don't sell your union short by holding on to fear or resentment either. Stop keeping score. Yeah, great football games, great tennis, great golf, whatever it is, they all need great scores. But the only thing you need in the bedroom and in the privacy of your own four walls is love. No scoreboard. Empathy, understanding, compassion, forgiveness, grace, kindness, goodness, gentleness. And you know what? And a lot more love. So see your spouse for who they really are, right? Who they are and who they are becoming, just like you. You change, they change too. But guess what? Change together and love them right where they're at, even when you disagree. And sometimes maybe it is just football teams. Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Okay, we can agree to disagree. It's all right. No big deal. But what happens on the football field stays on the football field. Don't bring the CRAP of life, all the outside influences, all the stuff your phone says, all the everything. Don't do it. Don't bring it in. It's only between you, your spouse, and God. Make that the beautiful trio. Learn to love well, because in the end, that's what makes all the difference. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Hey, and get some football in. Love ya. Bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.